Mick Abel is listed for us as our number 3 prospect. He's been listed as high as
All right.
number 2.
Name test.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's like an average name.
I think it sounds baseball-y. I wouldn't say he's a lock for a Hall of Fame, but I think he's a big league pitcher with that name.
I mean, I go back to calling him Mickey, just like we did before with one of our other prospects.
He's McLean, right? Isn't
Yeah,
that his name?
Alex McFarland.
Yes.
And Mick Abel can both rock the nickname Mickey.
I think it's
Mickey Abel sounds better than Mick Abel.
I don't know. He doesn't sound like a Mickey.
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine.
I don't think you want a Mickey
You're so
on the
fine
mound.
from my mind.
You want a Mickey in the batter's box.
That's a good point.
You know, so
All right,
Mick is good.
Hit it.
Now pitching for the Phillies, your number 3 starter, Mick Abel.
It's such a short name.
It is. It's
I
short
feel like
and
something's got to
fast.
be a little bit longer.
I think it's a good baseball
I mean,
name.
at least Abel's 2 syllables.
Yeah.
I always feel like
I
you
think
can't have 2 one-syllable names.
I think it's a perennial all-star type of name.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
might be on the doorstep.
Abel.
Mick Abel, yeah.
All
It's
right.
not bad.
Spiralot saying also a good baseball name. All right. I think he passed the name test. I think it's okay. Like, it's not like, oh, yay, Mick Abel.
It wouldn't translate to any other sport.
No.
Like, so if he was going to be a professional athlete, maybe bowling. I could see Mick Abel being a
with
bowler.
Mick Abel for 3.
Yeah, no.
Go, Mick Abel, go. No.
He's a baseball player.
Yeah, he's a baseball
All
player.
right, I'm glad
All
we
right.
settled that.
That was easy. So Mick Abel, who is listed as our number 3 on the prospect list, the big question around Mick Abel is he going to be able to crack the Major League roster? I agree with you, CMC. Let's look at the stats and figure out if this is the year. 22 years old, nice, tall, 6'5" frame, 190,
Lanky.
slender. He's slender, man. He split time with Reading and Lehigh Valley in
Isn't the
2023.
Slender Man a horror film?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not a horror movie guy, but I know that.
Yeah, Slender, and you can't say it like 3 times. I think it's
Slender
like
Man,
Candyman.
Slender Man, Slender Man.
Okay, calm it down over there,
No,
Candyman.
that's Candyman.
No, but I thought Slenderman's the same thing.
And
You can't
Beetlejuice.
say-
And Beetlejuice. Yeah.
No, I could have sworn Slenderman. You can't say something. But anyways, he went 5 for 6, a 4.13 ERA with 132 strikeouts. Slenderman also had a 1.26 WHIP and 65 walks, 61% strike rate. Wow, that's an eye test. 2.03 strikes per walk. Is that a 2 or a 7? I think it's a 2.
It's a 2.
Okay, wow, I feel like I'm doing
just over 2
covering
strikeouts
my
per walk.
eye test. 17.42 pitches per inning pitched. All right, so here's what some of the reports have indicated about Mick. Like we already know, 2024 could and should be the year that we see him get some pitches in the majors.
Well,
now,
hopefully.
he has, of course, been taking the backseat to Andrew Painter, who, as we know, is not pitching in 2024. That's been evident. Dave Dombrowski made that clear. And there's a lot of things that he's got in his arsenal. So for Mick Abel, specifically, he does need to work on improving his command. His talent has never been a question. He's definitely got the build. He's got the frame. He also has an impressive 5-pitch mix with a 4-seam fastball that averaged around 96 miles per hour, could hit as high as the triple digits, 2 distinct breaking balls, and could possibly see himself, depending on what happens this season for the Phillies. Such a long season. Injuries happen. Wear happens. Just the longevity of it, that maybe we see him get some innings in the majors, but definitely will be with Lehigh Valley this year. And as I know Dombrowski was talking about, is not expected to crack the roster as soon as, coming out of spring training,
No.
but potentially can as the year wears on, that we see Mick Abel get the call up, Jamie.
Now pitching. Yeah, we'll have to go up and see a game in Reading this year, because this is a huge year for Mick Abel. The raw power and ability has always been there. Having a 5-pitch arsenal at age 20 like that is some nasty stuff. As you said, his strikeout, his fastball, this kid throws gas. He averaged 95.9, just shy of 96, like you said. He finished second in the Philly system and second in the AA Eastern League in strikeouts last year. The strikeout stuff is there. Like, his swing and miss stuff is absolutely there. He had a 29% whiff rate, and he showed excellent life through the zone. Scouts love life through the zone, Tyler. As long as the ball's still moving when it crosses the plate, the hitter's job is a lot harder. His issue is command and control, and he didn't have it last year. Walked a lot of guys. The stuff is there. Some people credit the loss in command because it did get a little bit worse. He was the Phillies' top prospect in 2022, down to second last year. Now he's third. Part of that slipping is loss in command and control. And, part of that is also Andrew Painter and Justin Crawford jumping him a little bit, but his command is not good. And he has to correct that this year. His repertoire, as you said, 5 pitches is outstanding. His off-speed pitches his off-speed pitches are a mid-80s curveball, which scouts project as a plus pitch for him. His slider went through several changes last year. First, he changed it. Tyler, get the cigarette and bonbon ready. He changed his gyro shape to a sweeper and then split the difference and settled on a gyro slider / cutter hybrid.
Wow.
So, you hit this ball out of the park. You can call it whatever you want. I think of Orion Kerkerine's sweeper. It's like whatever the hell they want to call it anymore. It's a slider, slurve, sweeper, like whatever the hell it is. He's got 5 pitches. They're all plus, with the low 80s curveball. He throws a hard breaking ball, and it's just all going to come down to whether or not he can, regain that control in the command. He's 6'5" now, so he kind of gets on top of you quickly if you're a batter because he's so lanky. You'd like to see a little bit of weight and muscle put on to not that he needs to throw harder per se, but maybe just fill out the frame for durability a little bit. But there's an outside chance he could compete maybe around the All-Star game for that 6th starter spot if Nelson or Covey, screw the pooch and he starts the year strong.
Okay.
You never heard screwed the pooch?
I mean, no.
Well, if they screw the pooch and he's doing really well in Reading, he might get called up and given that opportunity this year. I, for one, would love to see it because I've heard about this kid now since he's been drafted, and at once he was can't miss, and now he's having the control and command struggles. We'll see, but this is I would say the first 2 months of this year are pretty huge for Mick Abel.
I agree. I mean, since getting drafted back in 2020. Mick Abel has been making progress. Even last year, there was a stretch across 4 starts in August and September where his ERA was a 1.17. His walk rate improved of 12.6%. Like, you've been seeing improvement, even as you mentioned, changing how his pitches are looking. So he's got the ability to tweak things, and we've been seeing him find ways to, take those steps, and even just an improvement from Reading to Lehigh Valley. And I think this should be the year. Now, will he be an everyday starter? No. The Phillies don't need to have a 6-man rotation, and he's not better than the any of the other 5. And I do think we'll see him, of course, get opportunities. And I think that's the only thing that you can ask. He's only 22, which is important. He's still very young.
22, 23, if you're,
he'll
a
be
top
23
3 prospect, that's usually about the time teams start considering
and
bringing you up.
And he doesn't turn 23 until August, which for whatever,
Yeah, even if he fails this year, the book is not closed on Mick Abel.
So that's not a make or break year, but it's an important year.
When you got it. And if he's truly got it, I think this is a huge year for him.
I think it's absolutely huge because you definitely want to see him get those opportunities that now, he's been making those adjustments, as we mentioned, see how it translates into the majors. Now you can always go back to the drawing board if you need to fix anything, which he probably would. Go back to the drawing board, but at least get that confidence of getting a taste of, pitching with.
But between him and Andrew Painter, who we'll talk about, spoiler alert, he's the number 1 prospect still. Between him and Andrew Painter, they had 2 of the top 12 hardest throwers in the minors last year.
Yeah.
Andrew Painter came in number 6, and Mick Abel came in number 12. So, your top 2 pitching prospects throw gas. Andrew Painter came in at 96.3. Mick Abel, as we said, 95.9. So, there's a lot to be excited about with this kid. We'll pay attention closely to him this year. Tyler, your thoughts? Mick Abel, future Hall of Famer?
Well, there's a lot to like with Mick Abel. And I mean, there is a lot to like. Plus stuff on multiple pitches. The fastball moves. It's got life. And you talked about that stride, right? And you have a guy that's 6'5" already, so he's already taking a long stride.
He's landing
down
on the grass
hill.
almost.
And his extension is like Zach Wheeler-like extension. There is so much to like about this kid, and one major flaw.
So the scouts have said, to your point, the Phillies are reworking his release point because they don't want his follow. They think his loss of command has to do with his release point being so far down. So they want him to shorten that release
it's certainly
point.
possible,
So
right?
that's
Like
what he's going to be working on in spring training and early this year.
Extension's significant, but you can overextend yourself, and that's certainly possible. I will say this, like, if Mick Abel cleans up command to a point where I think they have him at 35, 45 or something like that, if he gets
his control is a 40 on the scout scale.
So if you get 40 up to 45 or 50, you have something special there. And I don't know if that necessarily translates to him being an immediate effective starter in Major League Baseball, but I think it translates to long-term success.
I think he's projected to be
he's
at
probably
best
a 3.
a 2,
I think he's a
but
3 to
he's
me.
most likely projected to be a 3 in
So
Major League.
I look at this kid and I really get frustrated with the command thing, and then I look at everything else and I go,
So it's
there's a lot
what
there.
Tyler's talking about is the scouting grades. His fastball comes in at a 70 from the scouts. His curveball is a 60. His slider is a 55, and his changeup is a 60. Those are all remarkable, grades from scouts on his stuff. So his stuff is there. It's just, can he get the command and the control? Right. That's the $1 million question that the Phillies want an answer to this year because he's got stuff and he's got power. So really pulling for this kid. Hope he figures it out because the Phillies might have a little something here.